What's up, Fire Nation? If you don't play small and you're here to build, you're in the right place. I'm Miss Blue Fire, always taking you higher. Let's light it up. What's up, Fire Nation? If you don't play small and you're here to build, you're in the right place. I'm Miss Blue Fire, always taking you higher. Let's light it up. What's up, Fire Nation? If you don't play small and you're here to build, you're in the right place. I'm Miss Blue Fire, always taking you higher. Let's light it up. Fire Nation, hello, hello, hello. I want to make sure that you guys can hear me. Well, first of all, before we even start, I need to big up some people that are new here. Time come. Thank you for becoming the newest member to the channel. I appreciate that. And I appreciate the messages that you sent. I appreciate the support. Don't take it for granted over here. We also want to big up. I'll let you hear him first. There's an artist, right, called Crazy Bones. And he has a very strong voice, very beautiful voice. And he did a little jingle for me, so I'm going to play it for you. I want to big him up as well. Crazy Bones. Please go and check him out. Really strong, clear voice. Beautiful voice.
Up to the time. Good morning, students. Hey. This is Crazy Bones representing for Miss Blue Fire. Humble in the teachings of Jah. Remember, humble. When Miss Blue Fire teach, YouTube, TikTok, make sure you follow the link, subscribe. Make sure you're not tune into our man. The bodies, only for knowledge. Facts over fiction. Alien man, this is Crazy Bones representing for Miss Blue Fire on YouTube and TikTok. People, let me tell you now, you don't want to learn? Make sure you subscribe to our channel, follow the YouTube link, follow the TikTok link, and make sure you clock in a class. Enough things she teach. Only for things she going to teach you. Miss Blue Fire, big up your chest and make the dunce them rest. Up to the next.
Yes. Big up Crazy Bones. Big up Crazy Bones. And also I need to big up my new pal and my colleague here on YouTube.
Boom, DJ Dreadbeard. You have tuned in to the intellectual side of YouTube with Miss Julia, A.K.A. Miss Blue Fire, always taking you higher. Please remember to like, comment, and subscribe. And if you want to support the channel, Super Chat is appreciated. Fire Nation, march out.
Yeah, big up everybody. And big up Desmatic. Good to see you. All right, so guys, today we have a very, very interesting show because I've been hearing a lot of things going on, right? Hold on a second. Yeah, a lot of things going on in the YouTube streets, talking about ageism, who too old, who not too old, right? So we've been hearing a whole lot of foolishness, so we're going to break it down, right? And we have a special message for, as usual, our Fire Nation, but we also have a special message for our Gaza Nation as well. So first and foremost, let's begin, right? Age versus evolution. Fire Nation, what actually determines relevance in dancehall? And this is for the Fire Nation that are Jamaican, that knows music, as well as, the Gaza Nation and other nations that are here too, because we do have other nations that are subscribers to our Fire Nation. But this is a real serious question that people need to break apart before we even start to discuss it. Big up that Gaza Ricardo. Big up. What actually determines relevance in dancehall? Is dancehall aging artists, or is dancehall just exposing stagnation? I'm going to say that again. Is dancehall aging artists, or is it exposing stagnation? When you guys say someone is too old, what are you really measuring? What are you measuring when you say someone is too old for dancehall? Big up Dancehall War, blessings Dancehall War, big up. Everybody check out Dancehall War's channel. My colleague there, he's over on TikTok as well as on YouTube. And he also has a new channel, Dancehall War Extra Clips. Very entertaining. Check him out, check him out, check him out. He's also an entrepreneur. So he will actually do ads for you on your channel. And he has a very broad reach. So my entrepreneurs that listen to this, he doesn't only cater to just dancehall people, right? Check out his channel, reach out to him, right? And he will do you a solid. I've worked with him before, and very, very great work. I think he actually under promises and over delivers, because when he gave me my thumbnails, it was like 2 seconds, right? And I expected it to be at least 5 days. So big up Dancehall War, check him out. Yeah, Dancehall War. So we're starting off with, when someone says someone is too old for dancehall, what exactly are you measuring? Are you measuring years lived or years without adaptation? There's a difference. If a veteran shells a stage harder than a newcomer, if a veteran goes on a stage and shell it down harder than a newcomer, is their catalog still, and if their catalog still runs the streets, if their name alone shifts ticket sales, is that age or is that evolution? Right? And here is the uncomfortable question, because Miss Blue Fire, Fire Nation, I'm always facing you with these uncomfortable but necessary questions. Are we confusing maturity with irrelevance? Are you confusing maturity with irrelevance? Tonight, we are not asking who's older. Tonight, we are going to dissect and we're going to pick apart what actually keeps someone on the top. So Fire Nation and Gaza Nation, blessings. Thanks for being here. And we're going to start the show right now. All right, so just did that. Age is not the metric, okay? No matter who want to say what, age is not the metric. I'm going to break it down and I'm going to prove it for you, okay? So, Jamaica, y'all need to stop, okay? You need to stop, all right? When was the last time a crowd asked for someone's birth certificate? That's what I want to know. When was the last time a crowd asked someone for their birth certificate? On stage, what wins? Is it the wrinkles or the rhythm? Is it the years or the vibration? If someone older commands the rhythm pocket better than the youth, who exactly is aging out? Is dancehall measuring candles on a cake, or are we measuring the fire in the performance? Right? Good. All right. Good. So I asked you those questions. I want you to keep them in your head. All right. But sometimes, Jamaica, you need to stop. Big up More Flavor. Big up, big up. Nice to see you. Nice to see you. Nice to see you. So we're going to define the arena that we're in. We're talking about dancehall. And you know me, I love my research. I'm going to give you pure facts. This is not my opinions. These are facts. Right? Let's define the arena of dancehall that we're in. Dancehall does not have an age retirement policy, people. It has a relevance filter. Okay? Let's be crystal clear. This discussion is not emotional, it's structural. We are not debating your personal taste here, and I want you to get that clear for when we open up the floor, right? We are not debating your personal taste. We are examining career mechanics inside a competitive music marketplace. Okay, I've realized a lot of people, you forget that dancehall is a business. and music is a business, right? So we're going to break that down. Good. Now, relevance in dancehall is not governed by biological age. Let me tell you what it's governed by, and you should know this. And if you're being honest with yourself, you'll be able to see that what I'm saying is true. It is governed by rhythmic alignment. It's governed by market demand. It's governed by cultural timing. It's governed by performance execution. It's also governed by brand positioning. Age, my friends, is biological. Relevance is vibrational. Those are not the same system at all. Okay? At all. Now, I want you to look at global music history. All right? When people try to say, oh, age is a factor when it comes on to being relevant, right? Jay-Z dropped 444 at the age 47. And then he pivoted content to wealth, legacy, and generational ownership, right? He matured the subject matter, but he didn't retire. Bounty Killer, he still performs hardcore dancehall. Age did not remove the demand for him. Okay. Beenie Man, he still sings sexual party bravado music, and the crowd still move. Music is driven by audience appetite, not birth certificates. If the demand exists, then the supply clearly follows. Okay. Now, here's the big myth, right? Dancehall pushes artists out after a certain age. I don't know where people get this from. I don't know where people are getting this from, right? Now, let's break it down. Where did this myth come from? Let's break it down, right? The myth that dancehall pushes artists out after a certain age usually comes from 3 specific distortions. And I want you to listen to me clearly, right? It usually comes from 3 specific distortions. Okay? Number 1, streaming culture demographics, right? Gen Z, it's true, they dominate the stream counts, right? Algorithms favor youth-driven trends, that's true. That creates, though, the illusion that youth equals to dominance. It does not. It does not. But algorithmic visibility is not the same as cultural hierarchy. Remember, I was telling you about cultural impact, different than commercial impact. Remember, we spoke about that before. So this is really a build on. Okay, good. There's also the social media velocity, right? Trend cycles move faster than artists' careers a lot of times. These are facts. So people mistake fast visibility for long-term relevance. And that's a mistake that I've been hearing people make, right? Viral spikes, they're not market, they don't equate to market control, right? Somebody can go viral, you know, there's something new, trendy, but that does not equate to market control, right? Good. Number 3, there's a pop industry projection. We are not pop. In pop music, it's true. There's often a youth image emphasis, right? These are facts. It's true. But dancehall is not pop. With dancehall, authority matters, crowd control matters, vocal strength matters, lyrical sharpness matters, and clash dominance matters. Not saying that these things don't matter in pop, except for the clash dominance, right? But these big factors that matter in dancehall, none of these expire at 40 or 45 or 50. Okay? None of them do. These are facts. Now, historically, veterans in dancehall are respected. Clash survivors, they are elevated. You guys know this. Festival anchors remain booked. And dancehall does respect hierarchy, right? Trend cycles are temporary. Hierarchy is earned. Age is not a metric in dancehall. Energy is. No, let us make that difference. Okay. Age is not a metric in dancehall. Energy is. No. Is it true that your age can affect your energy? Of course. Of course it can. Of course it does. Of course it does. But It doesn't mean that just because you are higher in age, that means that you have less energy. There's a lot of younger dancehall artists that can hold a candle to my fireman, Capleton, because of his clean energy when him go on stage. These are facts. That's why the place still responds to him. Mr. Vegas too, same thing, right? Age is not a metric in dancehall. Energy is. Energy is one of them. We're going to go through all the metrics to prove to you that this argument that people are talking about, saying that Kartel is too old, is rubbish. Okay? Now, right? Dancehall is not built around teenage appeal like pop, like what I said, right? In our sound system culture, rewards the crowd control, as I said, the vocal strength, the lyrical sharpness, as I said, the production relevance, right? And the stage command. None of them, again, expire at 40. In fact, sometimes, most times, stage dominance improves with experience if they continue to take care of their bodies and if they continue to take care of themselves. Look at Mr. Vegas. He has improved all through the years, right? With his stage dominance, right? Okay. Now, in dancehall, nobody wins because they are young, okay? They win because they vibrate stronger. Energy is not counted in birthdays. It is measured in crowd reaction. It's measured in stamina. It's measured in who owns the stage. Okay? If the rhythm drops and the older artist shells harder than the youth, then age was never the metric. And you guys know this. Energy was. And energy cannot be aged out. And I'm telling you this even from me. I have more energy than most 20 and 30-year-olds, early 30-year-olds that I know. Right? Right? These are facts. Okay? Big up mood man. Big up check. Good to see you, my dear. Good to see you. Right? So age is not a metric. Energy is. Okay, good. Now we're going to go into the sonic death principle because we're going to go into why it is that some artists really do not age out, as in chronological age, but why it is that they die a death in dancehall. We're going to go through that. Okay, everybody like up the live. Yes, that's right. Mood man, thank you. Like up the live as they come in, please. So we're going to go into the sonic death principle. Okay, and I want you guys to remember these terms so you can go back and look it up for yourself so you can see that this is actual research. Okay. Now we're going to strip the conversation of all emotion, right? Because artists do not fade because they age. They fade because they become sonically predictable. Look it up. Sonically predictable. Dancehall removes artists who stop evolving sonically. Okay. Right? Fading is not about getting older, people. It's about becoming sonically predictable. You guys look it up. The people who are producers and the people who are music people, they would know what it is. But you guys who like to talk on the platforms, look up what it is. Okay? Now, a bit about dancehall, as we know. Blessing state, and state. I took your advice. I do have another device here showing the chat so I can see you. Hi state, blessings, and thanks for being here. So dancehall is rhythm first. In dancehall, drum textures evolve or they modernize. Rhythm textures they change. Beats per minute, the preferences they do shift along the years, about every 3 to 5 years. You can study it for yourself. Right? Vocal stacking evolves. Okay. Melodic cadence, they actually rotate throughout dance. So these are, listen, I want you guys to take a picture and ask somebody who is like a producer or somebody who is actually a radio station person that knows dancehall. They will back me up on everything that I'm saying. Right? The cadence pockets, those rotate. And the streaming structure evolves. Okay. So what does that mean, Miss Julia? What does that mean? Well, if an artist keeps the same flow template if an artist keeps the same beat architecture, if an artist keeps the same stage structure and the subject packaging, eventually they sound frozen in a previous era. These are facts, right? And in a genre like dancehall that is very fast moving, right, where innovation equals status, sounding outdated is fatal. That is what kills you. Sounding outdated. It's not a matter of your age. It's a matter of, did you evolve with the times? Are you up to the times? Okay? Right? Not because you're 40, but because you're not updating. Good afternoon, Rohan Noble. Good afternoon, my brother. Good to see you. Good to see you. Right? So now let's talk to these people now who are always on the platforms. And Gaza Nation, I'm glad that some of you are here. I do have some rebuttals for you for some of these people, because I've been hearing some people on the platforms, and while I'm working, and I can't really call in, but the arguments that they're hitting you with don't make any sense, and we're going to pick them apart. All right, good. Now, evolution doesn't mean abandoning your identity. Okay, it means adjusting. Same thing in business. You adjust. It's the same thing like when you send a missile off, right? Missiles that are sent off, they adjust on the way. They don't just go directly to the target. They actually adjust and calibrate for wind, for different things that might get in the way, etc. Right? So evolution doesn't mean abandoning identity. It means adjusting along the way, right? You adjust your cadence to the modern rhythmic pocket. You adjust your production collaborators. We're going to go into all of these. You adjust your song structure, right? Shorter streaming friendly formats. You adjust your topic packaging, right? If you have the same themes, but you can have a smarter framing for the same themes, right? People don't talk about Panani the same way that they did in the 80s. It's the same theme, but it's framed differently now for the music that we have now, right? And there is sonic layering, right? When it comes on to harmonies, ad-libs, and melodic bridges. Big up Garnet Reed. Big up Garnet Reed. That's right. Well, Miss Julia on the app. Yeah, so we're just tearing apart what they talk about when they talk about guys, Vybez Kartel getting too old or too old. And this can work because this is true, as I always say, you can use it across other principles. The principle holds true, and you can use it across other artists as well. Okay, good. Now, what do you mean by cadence adaptation, Miss Julia? Well, flow changes every era. These are facts. There are triplets. There's the melodic talk singing, and the Afro-infused timing. If you stay locked in one rhythmic template, you fossilize. In other words, you become old. You become a dinosaur. That's what you become. Okay, it has nothing to do with age. It has everything to do with you holding on to the past and holding on to the way how you used to always say things and the way how you used to always sing. That might be for the era in the 90s, right? But it's not for now. Okay, these are facts. Blessings, Spongy Price. Big up. I'm glad to see you here. Welcome, Fire Business. Hi, TG Media. Blessings. Right? Now, what do you mean by producer rotation, Miss Julia? Working with new producers, that prevents stagnation. It introduces fresh drum patterns, new mix textures, and updated sound design. So, and you guys know this, you can look at it for yourself. Artists who isolate themselves sonically, they get trapped. Right? If they collaborate with new producers, they have new drum patterns, they have new sound designs, they have updated mix textures, and because isolation equals stagnation. It's the same thing in business. If you are in any business and people are trying to isolate you from other people, run. Because business takes you collaborating, finding people who you gel with mentally, as well as same principles, right? And working together, collaboration. Isolation equals stagnation. These are facts. Okay. Now, what do you mean by streaming structure awareness, Miss Julia? These are all things that people are not bringing up on the platforms, right? These are the things that keep artists relevant and dominant, no matter how old they are. Okay. Modern songs, short intros. Now, modern songs have short intros. The hook, they arrive faster. They have a replay friendly format and they have snippet ready moments. Why? Because of social media. Okay. So ignoring structural shifts reduces your algorithm advantage. These are facts, right? Again, artists who don't adjust structure, they lose algorithm advantage. Okay. These are facts. You guys take a picture and you can verify it with the producer in your life. Okay. But these are facts, what I'm telling you. Now, what do I mean by stage modernization? Well, global festival staging, they require lighting coordination, energy pacing, and crowd interaction rhythm, right? A decade old stage formula, it reduces your bookings. These are facts, right? Then there's visual branding. Every era is visually coded. Every era of dancehall is visually coded. If your image freezes, the perception that people have of you freezes as well, right? People have a certain perception of Yellow Man. You see Yellow Man, you see Yellow Man, that is Yellow Man. Of course, he was great in his day and so forth, but it's still Yellow Man from that day, right? Why? Because the perception of Yellow Man has frozen, right? Nothing is wrong with that, right? As I'm going to break down, there are different types of artists, okay? Kartel's image has not frozen. It keeps updating. Anyhow, we're going to get into that. Artists who survive multiple eras, they did this, right? They updated the perception. Artists who didn't, they disappear quietly. This is evolution. It's not trend chasing, right? And it's called architectural updating. You guys look it up, take a picture and look it up. Verify what I'm saying. Don't just swallow it just because Miss Julia said it. Even though Miss Julia checked, verified, and did her research and read it again, I want you to get into the habit of checking and double checking. You guys know producers, ask them, right? Here's the reality. Dancehall removes artists who stop evolving sonically. That's the reality of it. It's not age. Stop balling. Hi, Vengeance Music. That is Crazy Bones. Guys, Vengeance Music, check him out. Check out his profile, check out his music. I just played your jingle before you came on Crazy Bones, and I thank you so much for that again. And Fire Nation and Gaza Nation, we're going to have an interview with Crazy Bones, and he's going to sing for us one of these fine days, but you'll see the post when it goes back up, right? Now, fun fact, dancehall is rhythm first. So if your cadence doesn't sit in modern pockets, look it up. If your beat selection sounds outdated, and if your hook structure feels pre-streaming era, guess what? Your audience is going to disengage. Not because you're older. It's because your sound isn't aligned. Right? Yes, happy birthday, Vengeance Music. Happy birthday. I thought it was yesterday, but happy birthday again. Celebrate the whole month here. Why not? So, Fire Nation, here is a key distinction. Age is not external. Sonic misalignment, that is internal. And it's only one of them that kills the careers. This is the sonic misalignment. That is what killed careers. It don't matter how old you are. If you're not sonically aligned to what's going on right now, especially with dancehall and move so fast, then dog nyame supper, as we say in Jamaica. Right? Good. Now, talked about that. Now, we're going to break down all the way why refusal to evolve kills faster than age. Okay, if you don't evolve, it's going to kill. And you know, it's the funny, some of these young ones don't evolve too. It's like when I see some of the, anyway, you have no reason not to evolve if older than you is evolving and keeping up with the times. Right? Good. Here is more proof. I want you to think about facts here. Take your emotions out of it. A 22-year-old stuck in a 2014 flow, guess what? He's going to flop. A 45-year-old who is aligned with 2026 production trends, they will thrive. Okay? They will thrive. So we talked about this. Your relevance in dancehall depends on your rhythm compatibility, the cultural timing, your viral adaptability, your performance intensity, and your production polish. Okay? Good. Alignment is what determines your dominance, right? Now, usually the people, right, who have this age criticism, it usually comes from people who, number one, they think entertainment has an expiration date. Number two, they just do not understand brand equity at all. And number three, they confuse personal taste with market data. So what, you don't like nerds? So what, you don't like nerds candy? Who cares about what you like? What does the market say? The market loves it though. That's why it's still selling. Okay? Do not confuse your personal taste with market data. Don't be that egotistical. Because you don't like something, that don't mean that it won't sell. People are different. Okay? Good. Now, this is my first crush here, my fireman, Capleton, and I had to mention him, right? That was my first artist, actually, him and Supercat, right? And he's holding the fire in his hand. This man here burns on clean energy. He have more energy than most of the young boys, young guys that you see go on stage right now. Okay? Good. Now, I want you to understand, time does not end careers. Resistance does. If you refuse new producers, if you refuse new rhymes and new rhythms, and if you refuse new structures and new markets, listen to me, the culture does not owe you any loyalty. This is dancehall. And it is still a business, right? The culture owes itself its momentum, and it's going to take it because dancehall move fast, whether you like it or not, right? And momentum, sorry to tell you, always outruns pride. Good. Now we're going to talk about the economics of longevity, right? We're going to break this down. And you're going to apply it to your artists, apply it to Vybez Kartel, apply it to other people, right? Right? When people say he's too old, here's what they usually mean. And when you dig deeper and you listen to me ask the questions, right? This is what they usually mean. They expect lyrical censorship. That's what they expect. Lyrical censorship. Oh, she's too old to be talking about that. Oh, he too old to be saying that. Right? Why? That's their own mental cages. They equate youth with edginess. Right? They don't understand lifetime fan bases. They don't understand that. Okay? But from a revenue standpoint and a business standpoint, which is what I want people to start to look at dancehall with, like have enough respect for our culture and our dancehall to actually look at it with a business lens, right? If the streams remain high, if the shows sell out, if the younger artists cite them as influence, and if your diaspora market remains strong, then guess what? Your brand is profitable. Your brand is profitable. That is who we're going to book. We don't ask you for no birth certificate when you come to book a show. Oh, what's your birth certificate? Hell no. Right? Your brand is profitable then. Hey, Same Flame Entertainment. Big up, 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 all, big up, big up, big up. Big up College 1 HP. Blessings for coming through, Same Flame Entertainment. I appreciate you. Right? Good. The brand is profitable. Now, listen, go ask your promoter in your life. Go and ask them. Promoters, you know what they book? They don't book birth years. They book ticket movers, crowd energizers, streaming pullers, and market magnets. Why? Because of, I tell you all the time, return on investment. Okay? Return, the artist is the product. Right? And their bodies are their instrument. That is why the artists like Mr. Vegas, who take care of his body, last so long. That's why the artists like my fireman, my first coach Capleton, take care of his body. That's why his energy so clean when him go on stage. Right? Right? Because they take care of their instrument. They might use other instruments, sure, but they take care of it. And that's why Mr. Pam, when he come out and start walking on treadmill, You can see that the man is better. He's taking care of his health because he relies on his health. Why? Because the thing is not age. What is it? It's energy. Energy. Okay? Good. So if the shows sell, if catalog streams daily, if the festival headlines draw the crowds, if the diaspora markets remain strong, the brand again is profitable. And let me tell you something about business. And I know I'm going to probably hurt some people's feelings, but that's okay. You'll get over it. Profitable brands do not retire because of YouTube or TikTok narratives. Okay? No matter what you guys want to say on YouTube or on TikTok about how I'm too old and Cartel too old, he's a profitable brand. And he's not going anywhere until he decides it or God decides it. Okay? Regardless of what your narrative is. So not just chatting off on the mouth for no reason. And it's showing your ignorance of the music business and the music industry, especially dancehall. Right? That's what it's showing. Good. Now, I want you also to remember this part, which is music markets, they're layered. Music markets are layered. Yes, of course. Why? Because there are different target markets that listen to music. Clearly. So there's Gen Z, there's the millennial, there is the core dancehall people, the core dancehall loyalist, there's the diaspora listeners, and the nostalgia buyers. Nostalgia buyers, we're going to break that down as well. Okay? Good. So, who are we even talking about when we say the audience? Because I've been seeing a lot of people group it up like the audience, the audience, the audience, right? And I'm like, who are you talking about? Gen Z streaming at midnight on TikTok? That's what you're talking about? Or the millennials replaying anthems from 2006? Or the core loyalists that never left? Or the diaspora listeners who fly overseas just for a show? Or the nostalgia buyers who attend a once a year festival? If the market is layered, why do you people speak of it as if it is singular? And if different layers reward different energies, how can age alone determine relevance? I want you guys to think about it, right? If the market is layered, and if different layers, just like the nostalgia buyers, they will go to a concert once a year, right? To hear Barry's Hammond, right? Right? And the core loyalists that just keep up with dancehall forever, right? And the millennials who just love them anthems from even from the 90s, right? If different layers reward different energies, how can age alone determine relevance? It clearly cannot. It clearly can't, but we're going to break it down. Okay? Let me give you some facts. A 40-year-old fan doesn't want their favorite artist to suddenly sound like a 19-year-old. We don't. We don't. Consistency serves legacy consumers, right? But they can still evolve. If evolution serves expansion consumers, right? So the best artists can do both. Cartel can sing some of his old songs, and now he's keeping up with the market and what people want to listen to now. And he can sing some of his new stuff because he's always expanding. Okay, and you can put it towards any other artist. Use it towards any other artist. You don't have to use Cartel. Okay, good. The smartest artists, as I just said, balance both. Right? Fire Nation. Evolution attracts expansion consumers, but dominance of the genre requires both. You need the expansion consumers and the legacy listeners. Okay? So, Fire Nation, and for my Gaza Nation pals that are here, the real question is not age. You know what the real question is? what they don't want to ask. The real question is the content still culturally relevant? Is the person, the artist, is he or she still commercially viable? Them still making money? Are they still able to make money through the music? Do people still want to buy them? Can promoters make money off when they book them? Is the brand still commanding attention? Right? If yes, their argument collapses. Okay, like a big overripened breadfruit drop splat. I write that to laugh at myself, right? Now we're gonna talk about Vybez Kartel, and we're gonna use him as a case study. Okay, and I did talk to a couple producers and radio people, right? And they actually helped me with the timeline, so I big them up. Okay, it wasn't just all from me. I actually had to research and talk to people who knew more than me. Okay, so we're gonna light up his technical evolution, and you guys can check it because I checked it. I listened to some of his songs, and it pans out. Okay, good. Rowan Noble says it's not about age, it's the bias towards the artist. Opposers double standard. That's right. That's right, Rowan. Right? Same Flame says he's too dominant for his age, and that's where the issue lies with the nation. That's right. And we're gonna get into that. We're gonna get into the psychology of that, why they do it, and what it is that they're afraid of. But we're gonna expose it. And I have some rebuttals for you guys. So whenever you are on the platform with them and they say certain things to you, you know how you can rebut them. Okay, don't get tied up. Now, this is a clinical breakdown, right? Vybez Kartel's flow and cadence evolution. Now, this in the early mid 2000s, very aggressive percussion driven delivery. Listen to him. Listen to it. Listen. Percussion means like a drum, like something that you hit. That's a percussion, right? Punchline heavy attack style. That's in the 2000s. Sharp bar dominance. He was rapid lyrical firing, right? Beat riding more than melody driven because of the times, right? The rhythm pocket was tight, almost machine gun precise. That is what was told to me by 3 different people that don't know each other. Okay, good. Now, the transitional era. This was in the late 2000 to 2015. He had slower melodic hooks. He did. He had the talk song choruses. He did. Increased emphasis on the vocal tonality, right? And he structured the hook first streaming format. So you guys can check out his songs in that time and see if we are right. Verify. Trust, but verify, right? So he began allowing spaces in the beat because breathing between bars became important during that time, right? That matters technically because silence is a part of cadence evolution. It is, right? Now, the later era, the streaming and prison release era, right? He has heavy melodic layering, emotional tonality shifts, right? More repetition based hook structures, which is stream friendly. So he's keeping up with the times, right? And modern digital mastering quality alignment, right? Well, we wouldn't expect anything less from him, right? So he adjusted to the streaming era's replay culture. What does that mean? This is what was explained to me. In this era, the songs need to be more loopable, more melodic, and more replay driven. Why? Because that is commercial awareness. Because everything is on social media now, right? Because we're in the streaming era, right? So you need a repetition optimized hooks, loopable melodies, viral ready structure, right? Streaming length formatting, right? So that is structural awareness. So he's doing, and he's done all of that, right? Now, here's the song structure evolution that he went through. The old format was verse heavy. It was lyrically dense, longer runtime. That's true. And I realized that too. I'm biased to a longer runtime because even his song Panic, like I love that song. I love it. I love it. I love that song. But I actually took off mask because I'm like, I need another verse. Come on, man. Why not another verse? Right? But that is my own bias. That's my own bias. And I'm going to be honest with you. I wish it was longer. If it was longer, I'm sure I'd give it a 8.5 to 9, right? Because God is the greatest to me is a 10. And the other one, SYM, is a 10, right? But I give this one a 7.5 to 8. I say 8. Because I want another verse. Every time I listen to it, it have me craving. right? So the longer runtime, that is my bias, right? Now, the new format, your hook enters earlier. Check it out. Ask a producer, ask a musician. The repetition is optimized, so the reply is built in. There's a shortened format and it's viral, snippy, ready moments, right? That is Vybez Kartel understanding how TikTok era consumption works. That is evolution. That is evolution. Okay? Good. Merkaba, thank you, my brother. Make sure to like up the live, people. Blessings, Merkaba. Blessings. Right. Big up Ray J. Barton. That's true. He doesn't need a lot of lyrics to go international, but the times has changed and he has kept up to the times. Right. So you guys like the live as you come in, even the people on the bush, in the bush, or on the replay. Make sure you like the live. So now he's still winning. Right? He is still winning. Now, 1 second. So the point of the matter is time does not end the careers, okay? Resistance does, right? If you refuse new producers, if you refuse new rhythms, if you refuse new structures, and if you refuse new markets, guess what? The culture doesn't owe you any loyalty. The culture is going to move on from you, okay? These are facts. These are facts. You don't like it, bite it. That's too bad. Right? Now, we're going to talk about why some artists fade. Okay? Why some artists fade. We're going to talk about that. Now, again, they don't fade because they're old. They fade because they repeat the same cadence, the same structure, and the same formula. Right? Familiar becomes predictable. And in music and in dancehall, predictable becomes forgettable. Right? And forgettable, that is what truly kills careers. If you're forgettable, not age. And I'm talking about the music here. Okay? Not age. I want you to listen to what I'm saying here. Right? Listen to what I'm saying. And a lot of it has to do with ego. Okay? If you are going to hold on, because that is what you usually do, right? And that is your same formula from back in the 90s, and it worked back then. Appetites have changed. You become predictable, you become forgettable. Okay, good. Now, what do I mean by the same rhythm formula? I want you guys to listen to what I'm saying so you can think about what I'm saying for yourself, right? Because when people ask you these questions, you need to be able to explain to them what you mean by rhythm formula. All right? Right? When everything sounds recycled, your engagement is going to dip. I was on a platform the other day and I was explaining the difference between signature flow and flow. Your signature flow is the same words that you say in the same way that people get to recognize you by. Pardon me, right? So when Sean Paul said dirty, yeah, everybody knows that's Sean Paul. That's the same words. He says it the same way. That's his signature flow. When Mr. Vega say Daidu, that's the same words said the same way. That's his signature flow. You can recognize him by it. Now, signature flow is different than your flow. Your flow is how you deliver the lines. If you have the same rhythm formula and you deliver your lines the same way, you sound recycled. Okay? These are facts. Good. Now, another thing is outdated mixed quality. What do I mean by that? Modern ears are used to polished digital mastering. If your production sounds thin or it sounds dated, it feels old. It's not about your age. It's just that you're still rhyming in a 90s way. Right? That feels old. Right? If you have no collaboration, right? Again, I told you isolation equals stagnation, not only in music, but in business. Why? Why? Because collaboration equals exposure to evolving creative ecosystems. Collaboration equals exposure to evolving creative ecosystems. You know who understood that very well? Sean Paul. These are facts, right? And Vybez too, right? But Sean Paul to a more international way. Resistance to change. You know what? Some artists, when you listen to them, they believe, I build this sound, so I won't bend. I build this sound, so I won't bend. The markets don't care about your pride, buddy. They respond to relevance. We respond to relevance. We don't care about your pride. We don't care that when Wappy killed Philip, you made this and it was hot back in the 1990s. We don't care. It's business. Move on. We've moved on, or we're gonna move on without you. Or you can be a legacy artist. We're gonna go down and we're going to break down the different types of artists and the ones that actually dominate, and it's going to prove to you why it is that Kartel is still dominating. Right? Also, there's some artists who depend on nostalgia. Them have a nostalgia dependency, right? Them living exclusively off their classics, right? If you do that, your signals decline. That's fine. You can do it. If you don't want to make any more music, that's fine. You retire out of the game. Sure, live off of your classics, right? But you are, just understand that you're a legacy artist, right? Legends do perform classics. That's true. But dominant artists, they also drop new heat. So the dominant artists, if they are old enough to have their classics, they still perform them. Everywhere Kartel go and perform classics, I'm pretty sure, right? Right? That's a classic. But guess what? Him still drop new heat. SYM. There's a difference. That's evolution. Okay? Now, here is why some artists stay relevant, like I was just telling you, right? The hybrid catalog strategy. What does that mean? Classics and new heat. That's what Vybez Kartel does. Classics and new heat, right? The cross-generational engagement. Vybez Kartel does that too. You know what? Insert your favorite artist here. I don't want you to hear, oh, Miss Julia bias and start ball. That's why I said to you, go and check the producer in your life, give them a ring, right? Take a picture, verify it with them, okay? Right? Verify it with them, right? Let them see. Okay, let them see and let them verify, because I did my research as well as talk to people in the industry, producers as well as radio jockeys. Okay, check out everything that I say. Remember, I always tell you, trust but verify. Don't just take it because I said it. Right? Right. Also, strategic collaboration. Him doing what he did with Shensia, that's a strategic collaboration. She's hot. Can't deny it. Right? Digital visibility, and even the one that he did with that guy there. What name again? Kaku. What name again? The one him say front shot, back shot. She said hotter than a gunshot. I don't remember what the guy name. That you see. I don't even remember the other guy. Right? Digital visibility alignment. Right? He is clearly digitally visible. Right? Controlled reinvention. He reinvented himself and he is controlling the narrative. This is why some artists stay relevant. It has nothing to do with age. I'm tired of hearing the balling and Gaza Nation and Fire Nation. Fire Nation, if you're not a part of Gaza Nation, you can insert your artist here and see if they make the mark and be honest. Right? And Gaza Nation, these are things that I want you to know for when you're challenged. Okay? When you're challenged, you can answer them. Okay? Because it makes sense. Take the emotion out of it, it makes sense. Okay? Hybrid catalog, they perform classics, but they introduce evolved sound. Again, when he goes on stage, where you get the new clocks, the daddy, him still perform that. But him introduce the evolved sound, the SYM. Right? So he's legacy plus current. Luge Fountain, Uncle send me over here. Big up. Oh, big up Luge Fountain and big up Uncle when you see him. Big up Double Mint Lodge. Big up Gaza Floyd. Big up everybody. Big up Gaza Nation. Big up. Yeah, I'm glad that you guys are here. So I do have a special message for Gaza Nation because I've been listening to some of the critics on the different platforms, right? And some of the questions that they ask, we have some answers for them. And of course, I'm not ever telling you what to do. But what I'm telling you is to think about the answers and reframe them in your own way so that you can deal with them with facts. Okay? Blessings, everybody. Blessings, Mr. Gray 34. Double Mint, big up yourself as another woman on the platform. Big up, big up. I love to see our women take up space. So big up, right? So legacy plus current. That is cartel. Hybrid catalog, right? Big up Lucian Fountain. Oh, thank you for the super chat. I appreciate it. Big up DJ Dreadbeard. DJ, I played your intro today. I played your intro. You missed it, but that's okay. I played for intermission. Big up, big up, big up, my buddy. Right? So he also has cross generational appeal. Right? Yes, the older fans bring loyalty, but guess what? The new fans bring volume. Right? Fire Nation, I want you to always know this. Sustained dominance requires both. For you to sustain your dominance, you need to do both. That's why. Okay? It has nothing to do with age. Right? Right? Features expand your tone versatility. That's true. Other producers, they add modernization. That's true. Youth infusion without identity loss. Cartel is still Cartel. He still has the youth infusion in him, right? But you don't see him out there trying to jump on the trapping or the trap song them or the newest hype. Why? Because he doesn't have to, right? He's infused with the youth, yes, but he does not. He's not like as if he's trying to become somebody different. He still has his identity, so he gets to keep the older fans, and he opens the door for newer fans too. Cross generational. Okay. The digital dominance. These are facts. Active streaming presence. This is a problem that a lot of people have with Vendetta, right? And they say that that's who he is and that's how he is. That's fine. That's okay. But it may work against him. Maybe. Who knows? I don't know. I'm not talking on an artist because I don't know enough about him. Anyway, active streaming presence, playlist positioning, cultural conversational presence, right? Silence equals decline in a digital era. These are facts, not only for businesses, but for music, especially music like our dancehall that moves so fast. Okay? Controlled reinvention, not erratic rebranding. As you can see, insert cartel here. It's not erratic all over the place, all over the place. No. It's controlled reinvention. You'll see what him about, what him do, and what him don't do. Okay? Right? He had strategic shifts. He had a slight tone softening, refined his messaging, and he has updated his sonic style. That is why he is still relevant. And for Gaza Nation and all the people that are just joining me, when you go back to the playback, I want you guys to go back because we explained in depth sonic style, right? These are the conversations that we need to be having on the platforms, breaking down what the music and the terms, what you're saying actually means, so we can poke holes in the argument, right? So he was able to evolve without losing his core identity, right? Again, as I said, legends, they perform their classics. That's true. Dominant artists still compete in the present. The hybrid strategy of being a legend and still being dominant, right, sustains power. What's the proof? Vybez Kartel is that proof. Think about what I said. Legends perform classics. The dominant artists still compete in the present. What is Kartel doing? Both. What is that? A hybrid strategy. That sustains power. Has nothing to do with age. Stop on the balling about the age. But I'm going to get to you. Right? Now, we're going to talk about why some artists fade. Right? I told you before that it has a lot to do with the same cadence, them same structure, them same formula. Right? Because when you're predictable, you become forgettable. Right? Especially in dancehall. Okay? Good. right? And I mean, when people keep saying that, oh, he's too old, right? Too old for what? Too old to dominate the streams? Gaza Nation, ask them when I say it's too old for what? Too old to dominate the streams? Too old to headline festivals? Too old to move the culture? Let me tell you guys something. Age is a biological fact. Relevance is a market decision. I'm going to say that again. And I want you guys to take it and run with it whenever you hear that foolishness. Age is a biological fact. Relevance is a market decision. Go and research when the colonel met KFC, how old he was. Right? All of it is the truth in business. The principle that I always say holds true against now, against this business of dancehall, against other businesses as well. The market has not rejected Vybez Kartel. The market has not rejected a lot of other hybrid artists as well. When a brand like Vybez Kartel evolves, you cannot expect him to sound 19. You expect him to sound seasoned. You expect him to sound strategic. And you expect him to be intentional, and that is what he is. The pre-prison era, that was raw aggression. I just went through the whole evolution with you. And I want you to double check my facts. Pre-prison era, raw aggression. The prison era, he was more melodic. There's more vulnerability in his songs. The post-release, this is legacy positioning. What is that? That is not stagnation. That's what you call life cycle maturity. Okay? And for my non-Jamaicans that want to learn about dancehall, I did tie in a little bit of the hip hop for you. Think about it. Jay-Z didn't stop rapping at 40. He shifted to wealth and legacy. This is a myth, okay? Dancehall does not retire its legends. It crowns them. Here's the truth, and here's the hard, cold truth that people not going to like me for, but I don't business. I don't care who not like me. I'm just going to show love. People who say too old, they usually mean I'm uncomfortable with this sustained dominance. Oh, he's making me uncomfortable. Oh, I need a trophy too. Let me tell you something. We're talking about money here and business. Business does not retire profitable brands. Okay? And culture doesn't erase architects. This isn't about age. It's about whether the demand still exists. And clearly, the demand still does exist. No, don't like it, bite it. Sorry, too bad. You're gonna have to like me on a business teaching day. We're gonna go back to that soon. Okay? Good. Now, we talked about why some artists fade. I should have had this up. Well, I had it on the script, but that's okay. Right? So, again, the artists that stay relevant, they hybridize, they preserve the core, they refresh the packaging, right? They collaborate without losing their identity. They experiment without losing foundation. Look at the experimentation. That song that Vybez Kartel just came out, that's a soca song. I'm a feta. I haven't fetted in a long time, but it's calling me this year, right? Right? That is I could see myself behind a truck dancing to that song. Okay? Right? The one of them say, hey brother, let's together. Big up, Bill Gaza uncle, big up, and thank you for sending people over here. Somebody just told me that you sent them over here. Thank you, and big up yourself. Right? They collaborate without losing identity, and they experiment without losing foundation. Right? They understand one simple rule. You can grow older, but you cannot grow outdated. Right? So a lot of you guys have this false equivalency because you see some of the older artists that become outdated. You're saying that he is too old. No. The market decides, buddy, not you and not your tastes. Sorry, not sorry. Now, this is why evolution sound matters more than age. Why? Because music, if you love music, you know that music is vibration. Genres shift every 3 to 5 years, right? If your cadence, your beat selection, and your delivery don't evolve, you are going to sound dated. These are facts. Again, I'm going to say it to you. A 25-year-old with an outdated flow will fade. A 45-year-old aligned with current sonic trends, they will dominate. You know why? You know why? Because of us, the audience. What do we respond to? We respond to beat texture. We respond to melodic progression. We respond to hook memorability. We respond to production quality. We don't respond to birth year. We don't give a flying you know what about birth year. Okay? Good. Right. So now we're going to go into why evolving sound matters more than age. This is why younger artists don't automatically replace Vybez Kartel and other artists too. I know that some of my Fire Nation, they're not Gaza Nation. That's fine. Insert your artists here if they can be inserted here. Or just use another artist. Right? But for Vybez Kartel, because we're using him as a case study, as I said before, right? Dominance is not about age turnover. It's about market share attention, and his attention share remains high. You do not outage someone who is still sonically aligned. You have to outperform them. Okay? These are facts. And this is why the balling is happening, right? Because instead of you pulling up your socks and trying, using your effort and having his work ethic, right? And pushing yourself to the limit, you're going to ball age. No, buddy, you need to outperform him. Sorry, not sorry. I want you guys to look up as well, Gaza Nation, as well as a Fire Nation, sonically aligned. I'm giving you some terms here, right? I want you guys to look these things up so you can break down their arguments and show them why them arguments don't make no sense. Okay? Right? Artists do not fade because they age. They don't.
Bumbo-rascal. Jamaica, stop! Jamaica, stop!
I had to play that. Right? I had to play that because sometimes I hear it and I'm like, seriously, Jamaica, stop. Like what's going on? What is going on? Right? So now, Gaza Nation, this is for you specifically. Right? This is for you specifically. Because I wanted to give you guys some rebuttals, and you don't, of course, I'll never tell you what to do. But I'm just saying, think about these answers so that when they try to trip you up, you can reword it in your own way. But I want you to understand, right? Because Gaza Nation are some bright people. Those people underestimate you, that's fine. They think all of us are, below par, that's fine. Okay? You beat them with the facts, not emotions. Now, critic would say, he's older now. Dancehall should have moved on. Say to them, move on from what? Age or excellence? Dancehall removes stagnation, not birthdays. He's benefiting from comeback hype. You, Gaza Nation, visibility spike happened, sure. But sustained dominance, that requires catalog, adaptability, and execution. These are facts. If you never have the catalog, if he wasn't adaptable and he wasn't executing right, you wouldn't be hearing about him. Right? Critic, but his themes haven't radically changed. Evolution is structural. Cadence adaptation, production alignment, streaming aware formatting. That is evolution. You don't abandon identity to evolve. You modernize its delivery. And that is such a hypocritical thing for people to say when they say like, oh, his themes haven't evolved. Buddy, what's the themes that people sing about? Every genre have a dominant one. In dancehall, this is about man and woman and gun and all that stuff. But guess what? It's the same theme. Just like in country music, is usually you're singing about love lost or love that you want to get or somebody leave you or your dog dead. Country music, right? Right? In dancehall, we have certain themes. These are facts. Just like in reggae, there are certain themes too. So that's a very hypocritical thing people say. But he has evolved. How has he evolved? He has evolved in a way that matters. Cadence adaptation, production alignment, and streaming aware formatting. Okay? Critic would say younger artists innovate more. You say, and yet dominance remains contested. Right? Longevity is mastery. And I'm still talking about him. He's just living off legacy. You say legacy books only, nostalgia tours. Active relevance sells out new markets. That is why he's selling out the arenas, because of active relevance. Legacy books, nostalgia tours. Remember I told you that there are different types of artists. There are legacy artists. Like a Barris Hammond, he's not coming up with anything new. When you go to a Barris Hammond show, you know you're going to hear what one dance can do, and he's standing in my way, and all of that stuff. Why? Because we go there for the nostalgia. We go there for the nostalgic tours. Yeah, we want to hear somebody. We know what we're going to get. But Kartel also does both. It's still nostalgic when him go sing Clarks, and him still relevant actively right now to sell out the new markets and cross the generational gaps. Right? You win the debate, Fire Nation and Gaza Nation, not by shouting, but by being economically literate. Someone asks you, oh, he's too old. Ask them, is he still streaming? What's your point? What is your point? He's too old. Too old for what? Is he still streaming? If someone says, oh, but the youth needs space. I heard this argument. The youth needs space. Is competition illegal? I'm sorry. What do you mean by the youth needs space? Let them take the space. Let them take the space. Okay? Is competition illegal? The problem is a lot of them do not have the work ethic that creates excellence. People look at the end results, even with me and my other buddies, look at the end results and say, okay, and emulate the end results. No. You need to emulate the process. You need to emulate waking up at 4:30 every morning, saying your prayers, and then going straight to the gym. You need to emulate going to bed by 11 o'clock, even when your friends them online and you want to talk and you want to hang out. Right? You need to emulate the process that gets you to the product, to the excellence. But they don't want to do that. They want to bawl about age. Sorry for sounding upset. I just that the arguments bother me sometimes when I hear them. Big up. Oh, thank you, Lotion, for the $10. Hope when Barris reach 50, no disrespect, they're gonna say the same thing. Barris passed 50 long time. So if someone says, oh, that era is over, ask them, then why are we still talking about it? Why are we still debating it? Right? Fire Nation, never forget. Strong arguments survive scrutiny. The weak ones hide behind emotion. Right? When they try to emotionally peg you, right? Or tell you what them feel, that's a weak argument. You can break it apart. Right? No, when they claim, oh, older artists just can't keep up. This is your counter. Technical adaptation is a strategic choice, not a biological limitation. Many veteran artists collaborate with younger producers to remain sonically aligned. Collaboration is evolution. Remember, sonically aligned. Big up State. Thank you for the super chat. Thank you for the super chat. Yeah, I try not to, you know, peace is my thing. But sometimes people bring out that. Big up Miss Jacobs. Big up Miss Jacobs. Good to see you, sister. So young artists set the trends. That's what they say. Well, this is what you say. Trend setting and longevity are different metrics, buddy. Trend setting, yes, that has something to do with influence. Of course it does. But trend setting and longevity are different metrics. A young artist can create a wave, sure. But a seasoned artist can refine, scale, and globalize that wave. Dancehall is a young man's game. I heard this one. No. Dancehall is a competition game. Dancehall is a competition game. The best performer wins, regardless of age. Sting stage clashes never asked for ID. They asked, who is going to shell this down? Legacy acts just live off classics. Well, that's not cartel. That's nostalgia booking, not active relevance. Listen, active relevance, which he has, guess what it requires? New streaming numbers, festival billing strength, cross-generational engagement, and social visibility. Does he not hit all four? If those are present, Gaza Nation and Fire Nation, age becomes irrelevant. Age is irrelevant. You think I care how old you are once you're making me money? You could be older than dirt. If you are making money for my business, where is the oxygen tank? Keep going. Right? This is energy. This is evolution. It has nothing to do with birth paper. Stop balling. Age becomes irrelevant. So, what actually determines relevance? We should talk about it. Well, we talked about all the different things, but we need to strip away the noise, right? Is relevant to a lot of you streaming spikes? Is it cultural fear? Is it headline power? Is it catalog depth? Is it the evolution of sound? Or is it something deeper, something less visible? Because this is my thing. If relevance isn't about age, like we just discovered and we just talked about, then what is it? Who decides? Is it the streets that decides? Is it the algorithm? Is it the promoters? Is it the diaspora? Is it the debates? Or does relevance belong to whoever adapts first? Right? It's not age. It's sound evolution. There are 3 survival models in dancehall. We're going to break them down. Big up Miguel. Love your karate assess. I think you want to say assessment. Hope the haters. That's all right. Yeah. We're not. Yeah. Oh, yes. Yes. Thank you, Miguel. I appreciate it. There are 3 survival models in dancehall, and I want you guys to know this, right? So we're going to break it down. There's a static legacy model that we talked about before. There's a hybrid model, and there's a full evolution model. Okay, good. The static legacy model, this is when the artist performs classics only. Like we talk about like Barry's Hammond, etc. Right? They survive on nostalgia. Okay. Then there's a hybrid model. That's the people who perform classics and they adapt to the modern production. Okay, good. Then there's the full evolution model. They continuously reinvent tone, cadence, rhythm alignment, and subject matter while keeping their core identity. Right? This model here sustains long-term dominance. This is what Kartel is doing. And that's why he's sustaining long-term dominance. Okay? One second. So, I want you guys to understand, relevance is not sentimental. Okay? It's not about who we grew up with. It's not about who you wish will just hurry up and retire. Right? Relevance lives at the intersection of sound alignment, cultural timing, and of course, market demand. If you align with the moment, then you survive it. If you resist the moment, then guess what? it's going to replace you. Relevance is not given. It is constantly renegotiated. Why? Because things move fast, especially in dancehall. Okay? These are facts. Right? Now, let's be clinical. Evolution is why Kartel is still relevant. These are facts. If he was still delivering 2008 drum patterns and 2008 flows, he will sound outdated. He'll sound outdated. He can't come up with a new song and it sound old. The sound of the way it's like, oh, he's stuck back there. Right? He doesn't do that. Okay? Instead, what do you see Kartel doing? Modern beat selection, updated melodic structure, strategic features, and he's controlling the messaging. Right? He did preserve his intensity, but he updated the architecture. What is that? That's evolution. That is what evolution is. Okay? Now, let's talk about some debate-proof counter-arguments for you guys. Again, Gaza Nation. Right? For people who say, but he should be more mature now. He should sing different content at his age. Listen, this is what you tell them in your own way. Content diversification does not require content abandonment. Okay? Here's the proof. He released introspective records. He has softened his public messaging. He has expanded his business ventures, right? He now carries legacy energy rather than that old reckless youth energy. Okay? Evolution does not mean you erase your brand identity. You add on. Okay? Right? When they say, oh, it looks immature. Listen, immaturity is contextual. Don't be hypocrites. In hip hop, in rock, right, as well as in dancehall, expressive masculinity and bravado, that's genre staples. Okay? You don't demand rock legends to stop singing rebellious lyrics at 45 because they are rock legends. Again, I told you each genre has certain dominating themes. He's singing in the genre. He's going to express himself and express those themes. That's just the themes of the genre. Right? And genre integrity is not age dependent. These are facts. Argument 3 that I hear. Younger artists should take over. Let me tell you something. Markets are not a charity system. Okay? The markets are not a charity system. If younger artists want dominance, they must earn demand. They don't inherit it. When I feel like I hear this argument and I almost broke my teeth. And I was like, oh Jesus, I can't even call in because I'm driving. Right? If younger artists want dominance, you better get scrappy. You must earn demand. You don't inherit demand because of your age. Sorry. We're not listening to your birth certificate. Longevity is not a blockage. They feel like, oh, because Kartel is leading for so long, then block. No. You know what that is? It's proof of exceptional brand equity. And I'm looking at it as a business owner as well, because dancehall is a business and we need to respect our culture and our music enough to start looking at dancehall through the proper lens and also learn some business lessons from Mr. Palmer as well. And I have some lessons from him that we, Fire Nation, we can actually emulate and actually look to see if it applies across principles across other places. Like I always say. Right? Longevity is not blockage. It's proof of exceptional brand equity. Okay? KFC have a very, very big brand equity in Jamaica. Period. Culturally. Right? Argument 4, he hasn't evolved. We already went through that. Clearly evidence-based. He has sonic evolution from raw lyric aggression to melodic prison era introspection to reflective control post-era tones. right? The business evolution. He has brand partnerships, liquor branding, structured public appearances, and controlled messaging through official reps. And a matter of fact, him just opened a cannabis shop in Japan. Who never know now. I keep up with this is my job to keep up with business and keep up to the times. And I take a particular interest in Black and Jamaican business owners. Cultural role evolution. He was a disruptor first, yes. And then he became the survivor. And now he's the legacy cornerstone. You know what that is? That is textbook artist life cycle development. Look it up because I looked it up. Research it. Artist life cycle development. That is a textbook case. It's almost like as if him read the book and plan it. I know he didn't because it's organic, right? But what I said, some of you are not looking at the man properly with the lens that you need to. And I'm going to wait until you don't want it to be when you wait until knock on wood impasse. Then everybody talk about how great he was because they're looking back. 2020 is always high in vision, eh? Why don't you stop now and look at the person while they're still alive? Argument 5. Older artists should just step aside gracefully. Graceful retirement is optional. Strategic expansion, that is smarter. Okay, he's building an empire. He already has an empire, he's building an empire. More. And the thing is, you don't know how that empire is going to end up helping you or even your children as Jamaicans. Right? There's one thing that you can say about the man from watching him. He's not a selfish person. Okay? So brands that maintain cultural leverage, they increase catalog streaming value. They increase touring power. And they increase negotiation authority. These are facts. Take a picture. Do what you need to do. Check it out afterwards. Verify. Verify. Okay? Sound is more important than age. Okay? Sound is more important than age. So, listen, I want you guys to remember the truth of the matter is dancehall was never, ever static. Never. Dancehall, remember the history of dancehall, what I taught you from before. It shifted from sound system clashes to digital rhythms to crossover waves to the melodic streaming eras, right? Every dominant figure in dancehall adapted. Every era demanded reinvention. You know what happened to the artists that stay rigid? History remembers them, but we don't play them, right? Dancehall survives because dancehall mutates. These are facts, right? Now, I want to go into the business truth about age criticism. Now, I did write something, it says here. So we're going to go into the business truth of age criticism. 1 second. It's saying, I know I did write it out, but I want to make sure. 1 second, my dears. Facts don't lie, people do, says Kartel has the ability to evolve his creativity unmatched. He's a true definition of patience and practice becomes perfect. We watch greatness. That's right. That's right. That's right. That's right. Everybody like the live, please, as you come in. As you come in, please like the live. So, Vybez Kartel is still winning. Love him or not, debate him or not, if his name trends without him releasing, if concerts center around his presence, if the younger artists still orbit his influence, if 2 decades later we are still saying the man's name, then understand this. That is not nostalgia. That is gravitational dominance. You know what gravitational dominance is? The pull of gravity. Dominance does not retire itself. Okay? It only steps down when it's ready or if it's replaced. Until then, the dominance will remain. Right? So the balling makes no sense. Right? doesn't make any sense at all. Just make it look weak and make it look like you're making an excuse, right? For people not pulling up their socks and improving their work ethics, right? Because if evolution is present, people, age becomes irrelevant. If evolution is absent, even the youngest of the young cannot survive. These are facts. Dancehall does not expire artists. It expires stagnation. Okay? Dancehall, again, dancehall does not expire artists because of their age. They expire artists because of their stagnation. Okay? Good. This is what I found when I listen to people. When people say, oh, he's too old, sometimes what they're revealing is not biological analysis. It's competitive discomfort. That's what it is. Right? Dominance that persists, it blocks succession attempts. As we saw, the succession attempt that tried to happen about the king, it blocked that. Why? Because his dominance is still persisting. That's why he's still the king of dancehall. Because he's still dominant. He's still dominating. Okay. And he behaves in kingly ways. He can carry dancehall. That's why he is king. Okay. Markets are competitive. So it doesn't have anything to do with all. And longevity protects attention share. That is true. Right? If irrelevance existed, I want you to think about it. Think with me here. If irrelevance existed, there would be silence. The debates equals engagement. The engagement equals the visibility. And the visibility equals market power. These are facts. All businesses, especially dancehall. And I really do believe that this age criticism thing is a threat response. And you dress it up as cultural concern. Because I hear you guys know. And to me, it's like you feel threatened by him and his dominance. Right? And so you dress it up as, oh, I'm concerned for the culture. I'm concerned for the youth in dancehall and dancehall not moving forward because all of these old people. Outshine him then. Outdo him then. Outwork him then. Or shut up. It's a threat response, and then you try to dress it up. And listen, you cannot craft me at all. This is the problem. Right? You cannot craft me. You dress it up as cultural concern. I'm so concerned. I'm so concerned for the youth in dance. Nobody not stopping them from outshining. Shine. Shine. Right? Shine. Now, Fire Nation, I want you to replace artist with entrepreneur. This is what we can learn from Vybez Kartel. If your business ignores technological shifts, if your business refuses platform adaptation, if your business depends solely only on an old catalog success, and if your business rejects collaboration, and if it resists structural modernization, your business will age strategically, not biologically, not only biologically, but strategically. Because you have to keep up with the times. Now, I want you guys to understand something. Longevity is not about surviving time alone. It's about adjusting to time. Not because you're still alive and you're still in dancehall means that you're relevant. It's about how much you have adjusted to the time. Okay? Yes, youth gives you energy. That is true. But evolution gives you power. And it's power that sustains dominance, not youth. It's not youth, because there's always going to be somebody younger. It's not youth that sustains dominance. It's his power. Okay? Evolution provides leverage. The catalog what he has, it provides asset depth. Hear what I said? Asset depth. And the consistency that he has provides longevity. Age, my friends, is neutral. Alignment is decisive. Okay? Now, you guys think about it for yourself. Is dancehall a youth game or a performance game? We go there to see how young people is. I never know say it was a fashion show. I didn't know it was a modeling show. We go there to admire youth, or we go there to enjoy performance. Right. It's a performance game. It should be hybrid. If an older artist still dominates streaming numbers, is age relevant? I would say no. Okay. Now, we talked about this, right? Here's a fact one. Artists who adapt survive. Artists who refuse to evolve, they fade, regardless of age. Okay? Now, why Kartel being older is actually strategic in a lot of ways, right? Because listen, if dancehall were truly age restricted, he would have faded by now. Instead, he remains one of the most debated artists. Everybody have him in the thumbnail. Everybody, even when they're not talking about him, right? He remains one of the most streamed artists. He commands international festival billing. Listen, Cayman sell out already. My friends there in Cayman saying, man, it's sell out already. Long time. Even though Cayman small still. But the place that they have is the biggest place that they could have it in Grand Cayman, at Cayman Bay. I go there all the time. Right? Sell that when shell off. Oh my gosh. Right? And it's right by the water. That's where a lot of the boats come in and dock as well. And there's restaurants there, bookstores there, everything. Love Cayman Bay. It done shell off long time, right? His return created global headlines. His name alone sells events. His name alone sells events. That is not nostalgia. That is gravitational pull. Okay? Now, the real question, is he running the show because of age? No, clearly not. He's running the show because of one, catalog depth. He has 2 decades of records and he's layered audience memory. Everybody remember old Kartel. The song, one of my favorite songs, when him say, them want me for go down in a cemetery. But then no, where am I going to have the Bible near me or something like that? One of the old ones them that I remember. Right? And it's layered. And you think about Clarks and you think about right now. There's so much, right? Right? Layered audience memory, right? Era ownership. He didn't just participate in his era. He defined cadence shifts within it. He did. Sound adaptation. Even during incarceration, his releases followed the modern, melodic, rhythmic trends instead of sounding frozen in 2006. These are facts. Right? Good. And he has narrative capital as well. With the energy, not prison hype, comeback energy. Cultural symbolism. That is amplified relevance, and that is what lasting. Prison hype don't last. If it was just prison hype, it would have done long time. Look at all the other people who come out of prison and we like, oh, okay. Right? Here is the business reality. Here is the business reality. Since when I want you guys, when you come over here, to remember, we over here look at dancehall with the respect that it deserves through the business lens as well. Promoters book ticket movers, crowd energizers, and streaming pullers. They do not book based on age brackets. If an artist can sell out a venue at 45, that's not anomaly. That is market validation. The market wants him. Give the people what they want. Right? It's not about refusing maturity. It's about maturing with the sound. That is what it's about. Right? An artist can adjust lyrical themes. They can refine cadence. They can upgrade the production quality. They can shift the vocal tonality like he did. That is evolution. Right? And it's the evolution of the artist that sustains the artist's relevance, not his youth. It's not modeling. It's not beauty queenism. Okay? Good. Now, when people say that is irrelevant, if it was irrelevant, then why are we still debating in people? Why? That makes sense? No sense. So, we talked about the sonic layering before, about the pre-prison era, right? The prison era and the post-release era, right? So I was just showing here his progression with that, using him as a case study, right? The business expansion, right? He's leveraging the global streaming, right? And this is entrepreneur artist behavior because he shifted now into legacy positioning. He even expanded into the liquor branding with Street Vibes Rum. Okay? So now we're going to zoom out because Kartel's relevance is not just musical, it's strategic longevity. And this is what we can learn, my Fire Nation business owners here. This is what we can learn from his journey. Lesson 1, evolution without identity loss. He didn't change his core tone completely. He didn't abandon his brand personality. He updated structure and he preserved his identity. We can do that with our businesses as well. In business, this is the equivalent of you pivot the packaging, but you protect the brand core. Okay? Number 2, what we learn from him, his catalog depth is asset leverage. How did he have that? His 2 decades of songs, that is equity. In business, what does that mean? We need to build our intellectual property. We need to build our catalog. We need to build our repeatable value, right? Short-term virality does not equate to long-term dominance. The Oracle thing, it's not going to work out. Okay? Lesson 3, the narrative capital matters in business as well. Yes, your comeback stories, it does multiply engagement. In leadership, what does this mean, Fire Nation? Your trials can become your fuel, and your setbacks can become positioning if it's framed correctly. Let me give you an example of this. And this is why I said this principle is true when you hold it against other factors and other examples. Now, remember the story about dominoes, right? You get it fast in 10 minutes or less, right? Or however minutes and less, right? What happened to them was there was a big, he killed somebody, unalive somebody, because he was racing, hurrying up to get the pizza to someone, right? And they almost lost the business. But they came out in front of it, apologized to people, and changed the timing, right? And people appreciated that. People appreciated the way they came out and said, you know what? I'm sorry. You know what? I did mess up. You know what? I'm not going to talk about it. We are doing things differently. Right? In leadership, your trials become your fuel. And that's what I love about being fire too. Anything that people put on top of me, I'm going to consume it. And it's going to make me burn brighter, just like fire. Right? Your setbacks become positioning if you frame it correctly. And that is something that we can learn from Mr. Palmer. And even when he had a problem with our show, he came right out and talked to people, right? And apologized. When somebody in his team said something that was not aligned with his brand, he came right out and said that he is my brother. However, he does not speak for me. Right? Consistent visibility equals to power. No, you have to take this one half and half. Right? It depends. You have to feel, you have to read the room when it comes to this. But even absent physically, his releases continued. His presence continued, and the conversation around him continued. Silence kills brands. Okay? Silence kills brands. These are facts. These are facts. Okay? Now, relevance in dancehall, it equals to sound alignment, cultural timing, market demand. Age, my friends, is not in that equation. Okay? Dancehall does not remove artists who get older. Don't make them tell you foolishness. Dancehall removes artists who stop adapting. And in music, just like in business, adaptation is what sustains dominance. Okay? When they keep saying that Kartel is too old, right? Right? First of all, let me say this first before I even go there. So artists do not fade because they age. Okay? They fade because they freeze. Dancehall is a moving train. If you're still using yesterday's formula, sorry, you're gonna sound old even at 23. Evolution is survival, evolve or die. Look at the artists. I want you to think about it now. Fire Nation and God's Energy. Look at the artists that disappeared. Did they age out or did they refuse to adjust? The artists who just disappeared, they were great one time and you're like, wait, one thing, where am they? Some music. One of my favorite one was Red Rat. Did he age? I'm still young. Or did he refuse to adjust? I don't know. You think about it. I'm not telling you the answers. Right? Dancehall respects reinvention. If you evolve your sound, the culture will evolve with you. Age is not the deadline. Okay? Irrelevance is the deadline. Right? They keep saying that Kartel is old. Yes, big up Red Rat. Big up Red Rat. Definitely. No this to anybody, but I'm just using as case studies, just reality. And big up Summer. I just see Summer. Hello, beautiful Summer TV. Absolutely. Check out Summer. She's one of our Fire Nation entrepreneurs as well. Check her out. She has some beautiful content. Right? Now, people keep saying that Vybez Kartel is old. No, let's think about it. If age removed you from dancehall, would the genre have any legends? No. If age removed people from dancehall, the genre will only have rookies. The reason Kartel is still running things isn't because he's clinging on. It's because he evolved with the times. He didn't freeze. He modernized his prime. Young artists don't lose because he's older. That's foolishness. I hear that narrative. Oh, because he's older and he's out there and listen, stop balling. You are not losing because he's older. You're losing because he is still aligned with the sound. I'm sorry. Dancehall doesn't reward youth. It rewards relevance and energy. And relevance belongs to who adapts. When an older artist, right? And I want to say this because they take it so personally, because I hear them on the platform, they take it so personally. And so, I don't know what, maybe it's a generation, right? We're not saying that because he remains dominant, that means that you're failing, or you're failed, It's proof that his longevity is executed correctly. That's what it's proving, right? But you keep on circling back to age as if age is this crime in dancehall. We need to be intellectually honest. Okay? The dancehall remove artists that stop evolving with the music and the times. These are facts. Right? Kartel's adjustment never stopped. That is why he still commands discussions. Okay? Because his adjustment never stopped. His cadence shifted, his production modernized, the song structure adapted to streaming psychology, as I just explained to you before. His hooks became loop friendly, that's keeping up with the times, and his melody became layered, that's keeping up with the times. He didn't erase who he was, he just updated how he delivered it. That, my friends, is the blueprint for longevity. Now, it's true. Comeback stories, they add mystique. That's true. But it's not prison hype. Prison hype wouldn't last this long. Okay? You know what's lasting long? His alignment, his execution, and his catalog depth. You cannot go around that. So I need you guys to stop confusing youth with relevance. Youth is energy. That's fine. Evolution is strategy. Okay? Strategy burns long. Dancehall, us, the audience, the multi-layered audience at every stage, we respect who shells the stage. We respect who owns the pocket of the rhythm. And we respect who commands the moment. And if an older artist like Vybez Kartel is commanding the moment, I'm sorry to tell you, it's not a glitch. It's just proof that his dominance is executed properly. Age does not expire you. Your stagnation does. Okay? And I'm telling you this too, my Fire Nation, in business and in dancehall. The market does not reward the youngest. It rewards who is giving the people what they want. Okay? That is what it rewards. Okay? So, what I'm going to do is I'm going to open the floor for anybody that want to contest anything or anybody that want to add anything. I'm going to open the floor so you guys can call in, right? Right? And we can talk about it, right? But you know, I really, you know, that defense there. You know, in entrepreneurship, let me just say this. In entrepreneurship, we see this every day. Every day. When a founder survives 20 years, right? Or when a company withstands multiple cycles, right? When the experience basically outperforms speed, right? And the new wave or the new companies, they don't always celebrate it. They don't, right? Why? Because dominance to them from someone who is older, it disrupts that narrative that they have in their head that says that youth automatically deserves the throne. Youth does not automatically deserve the throne. What are you saying? And that disruption feels dangerous. But I want you, Gaza Nation and Fire Nation, to look at it honestly. If a figure like Vybez Kartel still controls conversation bandwidth, if his gravitational pull still redirects attention, and if 2 decades later, the culture is still orbiting his name, is that ageism? Or is that unresolved competition? The market eliminates inefficiency. If someone older still holds leverage, it means they evolved enough to survive. And survival at that level, let me tell you something, is not accidental. It is not accidental. It is strategic. Now, let me bring it back to you, Fire Nation and Gaza Nation. When people say, oh, you're past your prime, the new wave is here, step aside, I want you to always ask yourself, did you actually slow down? Or did you simply make someone else uncomfortable with your longevity? Because here's the cold, hard truth. Ageism is often weaponized as a narrative when displacement feels possible. I'm going to say that again because it's even for business. Ageism is oftentimes weaponized as a narrative. Why? Because their displacement feels possible. They feel threatened. So they're going to grab at any straw to throw at you. When someone older refuses to collapse, when experience refuses to surrender, and when their legacy refuses to shrink, that pressure exposes insecurity in others. Right? Let me tell you, tied to business. In business, yes, youth gives you speed. You know the AI, you know this, you can do all of these. You're up to the times. But guess what? Speed without evolution crashes. That's why you find out them going up business full speed and then 1 year later, crash. Experience gives you pattern recognition. Okay? That is lethal. And that is why age is attacked. Not because it weakens you, but because evolved experience threatens new entitlement. They're new, them feel entitled. So guess what? The evolved experience that make them feel threatened. That's why they're reacting that way. Okay? Listen to me. All you artists out there and all of you entrepreneurs out there, I don't want you to ever fear getting older. I want you to fear getting stagnant because that's what's going to kill you. Stagnation loses your market share in music as well as in business. Your evolution will protect it. Okay? And if you are in your business and you're still commanding attention after decades of work, that's dominance that refuses to die. Call a spade a spade. Okay? Don't make them mind trick you. That's all it is. Good. So now I'm going to open the stage and I'm going to have anybody that want to call in. You can call in. Blessings, blessing states, greetings. Let me put up the call in link. If you guys want to come call in, you can call in. And any naysayers soon can call in too, but you must have no say when keep it respectful. I'm going to hide you from the channel. Yeah, I hide some people from the channel recently too. Yeah, if you make derogatory comments underneath my post or you try to diss anybody underneath my post, you know, I'm going to hide you. Right? Some people are some nasty critters. I don't understand. Anyway, mad people have phone. So yeah, so you guys can come in. Let's see if anybody trying to call in. Yeah, some. Did I put it up? Okay, so nobody don't want to call. A new member, Prince Anthony. Thank you for being a new member, Prince Anthony. And thank you for being a new member, Silva One. Thank you. Blessings, everybody. Everybody, you can like up the live. If nobody wants to call in and give their 2 cents about it, we're going to have another live too about Ninja Man and Kartel, because I heard that comment when you come on to the stage show. So we're going to break that down as well. So blessings, everybody. Blessings. And blessings, Double Mint. Thanks for coming here. Thanks for being around. And thanks for taking up space as another woman in the space. Blessings. All right, everybody. Nobody wants to call in. I'm out.
Fire Nation, listen to me. You don't log off and go back to playing small. You take what you learned and you execute. This is why Fire Nation exists. To rise higher, to build smarter, and to change the financial future of our families. I'm Miss Julia, A.K.A. Miss Blue Fire, always taking you higher. And wherever you go next, you carry our fire with you. Fire Nation, we rise, we build, and we're just getting started.